All right, Prediction Friday is underway, and boy, oh boy, do we have some updates from both sides on the Seattle Seahawks and the 49ers in regards to injuries, retirements, guys going to IR, guys coming off IR. There's a bunch of stuff that we got to cover really quickly, and then we will get into our kind of roster breakdown between the 49ers, Seattle Seahawks, get into our predictions and everything that we think is going to happen for this game coming up. A big one. You know, the 49ers have an opportunity to sweep Seattle, and boy, would that be phenomenal. So let's get into it all right now. You guys already know what to do. Drop your SDS in the chat. Smash that like button. Share this if you're on Facebook, whatever you got to do to get those numbers up. Let's get it, and let's get after it right now. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. What is going down, Sourdough Squad? We are back for another Prediction Friday. And like I mentioned at the beginning, there's some crazy stuff that went down. So let's get right into it. Seattle Seahawks had a starting player retire. Now, keep in mind, also earlier this week, they released their starting linebacker. So something doesn't really smell right over there in Seattle. Based on what we heard, it didn't sound like there was a lot of. Richard Sherman ripped the Seattle Seahawks for releasing Dodson. They traded Jerome Baker not too long after they played the San Francisco 49ers. Now you have a center retire. This is not something smells off with the Seattle Seahawks. So, hey, for Seattle, I know they're not that far behind, but this is definitely a must win for them. Obviously, for the 49ers, it's a must win for them as well because you don't want to lose another game in the NFC. You don't want to lose another game in the NFC West, and you don't want to split with the Seattle Seahawks. You need to continue to win games because right now the NFC West race is just too close. It's too close for comfort, and you need to come away with a win coming out of the bye. That would be 3 in a row as they get ready for a difficult road schedule as they go to Packers, Bills in back-to-back weeks. And they would come back for to face the Bears at home. So it's a big week. It feels like every game at this point is still considered to be a big game because of the early losses in the year and because you do have teams like the Arizona Cardinals who are playing really well right now. And that game that they lost against those pesky Cardinals could come back to haunt them later on down the road. So that's why you need to do everything in your power to be able to win as many games as possible because that final game of the season, week 18 against the Cardinals, could prove to be a pretty substantial game. So let's get into some of the injury reports and then we will go into our predictions. DK Metcalf, who has missed some time, he will return for this game against the San Francisco 49ers. Renato Green played really well against him in the first matchup at Seattle. So I don't want to jinx it, but, the 49ers have played pretty well against him. So we'll see if that continues. And then again, this is the crazy news of the day is Connor Williams retires today. I'm sure internally they knew about this. I don't think he practiced at all this week from what I've heard. So I think internally they've kind of sensed this, but it was announced today. So interesting. Interesting development. This is not something that you want as a member of the of the Seattle Seahawks. Is your starting center retiring in the middle of the year before your game against the 49ers, because the guy that you have to come in and fill his shoes has only started one game in his career. He's a second-year player and only has 132 snaps under his belt. Right now, Malik Collins is licking his chops, and that could go into some of our predictions of who's going to be defensive player of the game. So we'll keep that in mind as we move forward. But some unfortunate news and some good news mixed all in one. Yita Gross Matos is going to be activated from IR, so that's good news. Bad news, Mitch Wishnowsky to IR. So the 49ers, man, have had injuries to their specialists like I've never seen before. Losing Jake Moody for 4 weeks, then losing your backup kicker, and now your punter goes on IR. I'm not sure I've ever seen this, at least around the San Francisco 49ers. I've not seen this. We've seen kickers get hurt. Robbie Gould got hurt. Remember, Chase McLaughlin had to come in and fill in. He filled in admirably well. He's the starting kicker now for the Bucks. We just played against him. But, yeah, not good. Invader says, seems like Wishnowsky hasn't been right all year. He hasn't. This started in training camp. And again, I talked about it. We know Presley Harvin kicked throughout the preseason, and he kicked well. But there was a 5-day period where every day after training camp, they had a punter trying out. It was interesting, to say the least. But so this is an ongoing thing, and it's a back. I got a back injury. I've had a depleted L5 disc since I was like 18 years old, and gives me fits all the time. I wake up out of bed like an old man, like when I was in Miami, every step not Miami, in Florida, in Tampa, every step I took was excruciating pain because of sitting in the airline seats. Just destroyed my back. And so back injuries are not fun, and they don't go away. Seemingly they just kind of hang around to just annoy you and make your life miserable. So that's something real that we're gonna have to keep an eye on for Mitch Wishnowsky moving forward. So definitely going to have to see what happens there. Trent Williams is another cause for concern. He does not practice at all this week, and I don't love that, because he's dealing with an ankle injury, and he will be a game time decision according to Kyle Shanahan. Obviously, if he can't go, it will be Jalen Moore. So really hope that Trent can go, but they will rely on the backup if he can't. Some guys that were in question this week: Nick Bosa, George Kittle, both of them officially questionable this week. Bosa, I think, is good to go. They were just kind of managing his reps this week. Same thing with Kittle. He practiced 2 days in a row. Bosa practiced today. I think both these guys are good to go. Nothing to worry about there with them. We'll obviously have to monitor it. Brandon Ayuk had successful knee surgery. We'd been kind of waiting to hear when he was going to get that surgery, and when was that? He got hurt. He got hurt week 7, so October 20th, almost a month, almost a complete month from the date of the incident. So I wonder if that was to allow swelling to go down. I'm not really sure, but BA goes under the knife and finally is going to be able to have a timetable for return, hopefully starting back at the beginning of training camp. But that's going to be something we'll have to wait and see how he responds to the rehab process. This is the official injury report. Bosa questionable, Feliciano questionable, still on IR, but potentially could have the shot to get elevated too. But we'll see. Trent Williams, ankle. Yetur Gross-Matos officially questionable, but he will be activated according to Kyle Shanahan. Aaron Banks pops up on the injury report as questionable with the thigh, which means he got hurt yesterday in practice. So if Banks can't go, I would imagine that would be a good sign for Feliciano. But what I think what will be interesting is if Banks can't go, would it be Feliciano or would it be Burford? I'm not really sure. Burford has obviously been healthy, so maybe he would get first crack at it. I'm not really sure. So we'll see what the 49ers opt with if Banks can't go, but that is a development that we'll have to keep our eye on. George Kittle, questionable. Darrell Luter Jr. pops up on the injury report and is doubtful. So this means he got hurt at practice yesterday. So unfortunate for him, but he's going to be down. So the 49ers are going to be down 2 cornerbacks. Charvarius Ward, obviously, out with personal issue. And Mitch Wishnowsky, we already talked about, headed to IR. And Kevin Givens will miss his second consecutive week in a row. So quite the lengthy injury report, to say the least. 49ers also, Jawan Jennings also was removed from the practice report after he was a surprise pop-up on Wednesday. So Jawan's good to go. That's good news. And a little bit of a roster move. 49ers waived Matthew Wright from IR. So, yeah, busy day today. One of the longer injury updates that we've had in a long time, but interesting to say the least. Before we get into our predictions today, I want to get your prediction on the fight that's coming up here. I don't know if you're going to be watching it or not. Steve Young picked his winner. He says Jake Paul, Warhol, Senegal. Who you going to call? Doesn't matter. Tyson in under 5. So you got Tyson versus Jake Paul tonight. Some of you might be watching it. Some of you might not care at all. But I don't know. I feel like I'm going to tune into this one. This feels like, man, I grew up watching Tyson fight. I remember where I was when he bit the ear off. I think I was like 5 or 6 years old. It's crazy that I remember that, but I just remember it like we were with my parents at someone's house, like at their friend's house, watching it, and everyone just freaking out that Tyson bit Holyfield's ear off, and just me being like a little 5-year-old kid somehow burned into my memory. So I'm going to tune in. And yesterday we saw the slap, he slapped Jake Paul. That didn't feel like that was scripted. That felt like he went into some primal instincts where like Jake Paul crawls at him and he instantly like went into primal, like I'm going to destroy you mode. So I'm curious to see what happens in this one. Steve Young's taking Tyson. I feel like I'm going to go Tyson too. I feel like this might be the first time that Jake Paul gets absolutely rocked. I just think Tyson's been taking this seriously. He's been training, and that man is strong. So I'm not betting against Mike Tyson. That dude's crazy. He's crazy. It is hilarious. Marcus says, "What a joke of a fight." Hey, it's pure entertainment. This isn't like boxing at its highest level or anything like that. pure entertainment. I think Tyson's like 57, 58, 50 Tyson. So it is what it is. But hey, you pull Tyson out of retirement to fight a former Disney star. Shoot, I'm for it. We've been waiting to see Jake Paul get knocked out for a while. So he's been going up against, a couple scrubs here or there, but hey Tyson, even though he is at his age, I wouldn't mess with Tyson. That dude's a that dude's a freak. And I mean that in the most sincerest way possible, because he would literally rip my head off. He might actually eat my head. He's crazy. He's crazy for sure. Um, so it might be a joke of a fight, but boy, it's going to be entertaining. It is going to be entertaining for sure. So let's take a look at this depth chart. Let's get into our evaluations of this Seattle team that is coming into this game wanting to beat the 49ers, needing to beat the 49ers, not just wanting. They got to get this win to be able to get their season back on track. They do get some guys back, however, key losses. So let's get into it. And if you guys are going to this game, make sure you're tapping in with TickPick. Use my code SF9ers to be able to get a discount on your tickets. And you're going to want to do that for sure. So if you guys are going to the game, let me know. And let me know if you use TickPick for your purchases. But Geno Smith was talking about the San Francisco 49ers this week, saying if we want to be a team like the San Francisco 49ers, we got to beat the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't think Geno has he hasn't beat Brock Purdy up until this point. So they're feeling the pressure of this one. So it's going to be really interesting to see what performance we get out of Geno and this group. Obviously, Geno has been able to show that he can be good. But, man, through that brutal pick, Renardo Green getting that pick to, help seal the game in Seattle. Just a bad throw, bad decision, and just not ideal. Not ideal for the Seattle Seahawks. So we'll see, Geno. Geno's going to be in a little bit of a predicament, because without that starting center, he now has a new center. You have to keep in mind that the quarterback center exchange is very important, and it goes unnoticed until there's a problem with it. And when you are playing with the new center, that is something that can be an issue. So Timmy, good luck, pal, because Malik Collins and company are going to be trying to make your life a living hell. So he's going to be under the gun. I think the 49ers should absolutely attack the center, and that might mean Malik Collins has a big day in the office. Evan Anderson might have a big day in the office. So we shall see. No Mooney against DK. That is true. That is true. So we'll have to see. But I do imagine Renardo Green is going to play a lot in this game. So they still have some top weapons, though. Kenneth Walker, in my opinion, phenomenal running back. DK Metcalf can be a problem, just doesn't, seems to have some struggles against the 49ers at times. Jackson Smith and Jigba, quality wide receiver as well, and Tyler Lockett. So they have good weapons. Noah Fant looks like he will be out. so they'll have to rely on someone else. They do get Abraham Lucas back at right tackle. Abe Lucas is one of my draft crushes. Phenomenal tackle. His problem has just been health up until this point. So they get Lucas back. And so that's a good get for them. But again, losing your center is an interesting thing to have to overcome. And old friend alert, Laken Tomlinson at left guard, Charles Cross. So they have a decent O-line, or they had a decent O-line, but now I think they're in trouble. But we'll see. We've talked about it many times on this channel. Oh, look, a hurt offensive line. Time for the 49ers defensive line to feast, and crickets. I think it's even happened this season. I think I even challenged the 49ers defensive line, like, listen, I think it might have been against the Rams. I think it was like, oh, look, banged up offensive line. We've said this before. Oh, banged up offensive line. Defensive line's going to feast. Hasn't happened. So this was my challenge to you, 49er defensive line. Get after it. That they did it. They did it. They did it. They didn't meet the challenge. So I'm going to challenge them again. 49ers defensive line. Banged up center. New guy in there. Get after this group. Get after this group. I don't care who's not in there. I don't care that Hargrave's on IR. Get after him, man. You've got Bosa. You've got Leonard Floyd. You got Malik Collins. You got Evan Anderson. You got Jordan Elliott. You're going to get Yetur Gross-Matos back. You got Sam O, who's balling. Get after this group. Own the line of scrimmage. And it starts up front with that center. Get after their behinds. So we'll see. We'll see. I think it's going to be a good matchup. It's a good matchup on paper. But I think with the 49ers crowd behind them, I definitely think they could get after him. So let's see. I'm curious to see what you guys are thinking. This is now your opportunity to get involved in the show, because it is DPOG time. Who is going to be the defensive player of the game in this one? Is it going to be someone on the defensive line? Is it going to be Freddie Warner doing Freddie Warner things? Is it going to be one of the young cornerbacks, Diamador Lenore, getting cashed out and going crazy? Who's going to be the DPOG for this game against Seattle? I think there's plenty of solid options here. I might go a little bit against the grain on this one, and I think I might pick a guy that I haven't picked all year. And it's a little bit bold. It's a little bit out there, but I'll let you know as soon as I see some of your guys coming on up. Let's see. So Valhalla says Demo is showing out. Moody saying Demo. Brock fan says Demo. Joy says Demo. Hopefully for Joy's husband, it isn't Demo. If you didn't know, Joy's husband is a Seattle Seahawks fan. Boo! Boo! Joshua was good, my guy. Says Fred 2 forced fumbles. Ooh, I like that. It's been a while since we've had a Fred forced fumble. So yes, sign me up for that. KJ, I like where your head's at, pal. He says Evan Anderson. Malik Collins for Bobby. Galaxy Brain pick, Bobby. We got Demo for J Fig. Invader says Green. I like the Green pick too. Oh, J Fig's doubling down, saying if Ronaldo Green has, if Ronaldo has 2 interceptions, but Demo is the defensive player of the game, Does that mean Demo has 4 interceptions? What does Demo have to do to win defensive player of the game to outperform Renardo Green's projected two interception game? Top 3. Okay, I'll take a top 3. Demo, Warner, Mustafa. Yeah. Strawberry says Fred has been forcing fumbles. 49ers just haven't been recovering them. That's a good point. Because we did have I think a forced fumble last week as well. Oh, there we go. Correction. Demo. Green interception. Demo 3 interceptions. Hey, I'll take that. You know what? I'm gonna switch mine to a little bit of a code. DPOG. I'm gonna go Evan Anderson and Malik Collins. If you're a football player, especially a trench player, and you see that their center is brand spanking new, and I'm talking about like he's got 1 start under his belt. He is barely over 100 snaps in the NFL. I'm thinking Evan Anderson. I'm thinking Malik Collins. Have a day. Make Olu want to retire too. That's my goal. Get after them. I really think that we have an opportunity here where we could see now keep in mind Lake and Tomlinson, Bradford, they're going to be helping Olu. It's not like Olu's playing in a phone booth. He's going to get help from the guards as well, but that interior O-line looks real suspect. Get after those boys. And interior can wreak havoc on the line of scrimmage and make Gino real uncomfortable. That's who I'm going with. That's what I think. I think that would be spicy. All right, let's switch gears. Let's look at the defense. So this defense actually looks different than what we last saw it as, because they made some changes. They made a trade, so we are going to see a little bit different linebackers than we saw the first time around. And it does look like they have made some changes as well. Now, we have Jaron Reed, Jonathan Hankins, and Leonard Williams. I will say this. Leonard Williams is a stud. I was very impressed with Leonard Williams watching him on tape the week the 49ers played him. I would say that Leonard Williams, up until this point, is the best interior defensive lineman that they have faced. So that, to me, is my way of putting respect on Leonard Williams. He still got it. He was playing really well, and to the point where I think he's been the best IDL that I've seen on tape this year. I still believe that Jared Verse is the best edge that I have seen up until this point on tape. So those two carry the torch for best defensive lineman I've seen the 49ers go up against, and that includes what we saw last week. So, you know, that's something to keep an eye on, especially if Aaron Banks can't go, and if you have to put Burford in or Feliciano. That will be interesting to see how they manage that. But you also got they run a 3-4 scheme. So, you know, these three I think are pretty good. And then obviously you've got Byron Murphy. Draymond Jones is playing outside linebacker these days, which is crazy. Obviously, Uchenna Nwosu's been on IR. He was on IR for the game against the 49ers first time around. So their defensive line is okay. It's definitely anchored by Leonard Williams, but with the return of Christian McCaffrey, I think they have an opportunity to get back to running the football. I think that's the goal for this game is to get CMC back out there, continue to see CMC take strides because I don't think he was, he was probably 100% health wise, but he wasn't himself. Like, you got to give these guys time to acclimate. I would imagine that we'll see the best version of Christian probably around the Bears game, week 14. So you give them a month to get back into the groove of things, get back to used to getting hit, making those cuts, regaining some of that explosion. So I think CMC, but it's still a great opportunity for CMC. And even if you are going to run Jordan Mason as well, I would love to see Jordan Mason get some more carries, but obviously the trends took a turn with the usage. It went straight back to bell cow McCaffrey and barely any Jordan Mason playing. So we'll have to see how that all works. But hey, I see no one on this list that Dominic Pooney can't stop. So we'll see. Again, these are the two new linebackers in for them, Tyrese Knight and Ernest Jones. Ernest Jones came over via trade, and then Tyrese Knight, I believe, was on the roster. We know Boye Mafe, Derek Hall as well. Former second-round draft pick, nearly a first-round pick, but he has 5 sacks on the season. So not bad front seven. Obviously, Ernest Jones, I think, is pretty solid linebacker. Tyrese Knight, I don't know much about, so we'll have to see about that. Boye Mafe coming into his own. And then you got Reek Woolen and Kobe Bryant, Julian Love, Trey Brown, Devin Witherspoon. So what I'm really curious about is who is Devin Witherspoon going to go up against? Because I think that could have a bit of a role into our projection of offensive player of the game. Because as we expect, Juwan Jennings is now the X. Something that I didn't really think that was ideal to have Jennings play the X position. However, he is just Jennings. He just plays really well. He just plays super good when you need him to. And we'll see. But does Debo get Witherspoon? Does Pearsall get Witherspoon? I think Witherspoon is a very quality cornerback who plays at a really high level. So we'll see. We'll see. Reek Woolen, though, he's definitely kind of come back to earth. Reek Woolen and Juwan Jennings definitely have a history of chirping each other, of talking crap on social media, in the game. So that's a matchup that I would like to see. So maybe Devin Witherspoon is more aligned with Pearsall. So we'll see. We'll see how that all works out. But could be a great opportunity for 2019 Debo Samuel to return. I posted to my Instagram basically reliving that 2019 game, the final one at the end of the year, where Drake Greenlaw gets the stop on Hollister at the 1 inch line, maybe even 1 centimeter line, and just reliving that game. Man, that game was such a nail biter. I just took me back to the emotions of that game, how it felt gross, because I remember Seattle inside the 5-yard line bringing out Marshawn Lynch, they're going to run the football. I'm like, no way. No way the 49ers are going to lose at the hands of Marshawn Lynch, who at the time Seattle had just signed and brought him back. And then they had a penalty that knocked him back. And then that set up that insane goal line stop. 49ers clinch the 1 seed. They win the West all on that play. Just a remarkable, remarkable game, a remarkable ending. Just kind of got me hyped, kind of put me in the right mindset for this game coming up. So I don't know. I'm curious to see who you guys got for your offensive player of the game again. So this will be the first time that we face off against the Seattle Seahawks with Christian McCaffrey at the helm. So I am interested to see who you guys think will be the offensive player of the game. Let me know in the chat below of who you guys got, and then I will tell you who I think will be ready to go. Let's see. Right off the bat, we have CMC, which I do think is a quality assessment because I think we expected CMC to get the tuggy last year and or last game. Might come this game. We'll see. Jawan Jennings going Marshawn Lynch on Seahawks. Kittle game. Kittle's having a phenomenal season. Can we talk about just how Kittle's legit? Kittle might be the number one weapon on the 49ers right now. He's playing that well. Debo, according to Bobby, says he always has good games against the Seahawks. That's very true. Very, very true. Debo Samuel game. That is an interesting point that Debo seems to have good games against particular opponents. But that is very true. I mean, you think back to 2019, you think back to 2022 divisional round playoff game, you think of the game this year. Debo does have good games against the Seattle Seahawks. Kenny says CMC. Jay Fig says Kittle loves playing there. He does for sure. Moody says I think everyone can feast. He's going straight up Turkey Day. Yeah, I think that's true. Pearsall 2 touchdowns. Ooh. Kittle will probably score a touchdown each game. He is amazing. Kittle, the Purdy Pearsall connection is tough. Who do I want to go with this game? I think it's a tough one. I do think there are multiple options that you can go with, but I think I got to go with Kittle. I think CMC is absolutely a good option, but I kind of want to go against the grain a little bit. I want to go Kittle here, which super against the grain, right? But I think with their new linebackers, their safeties are kind of mid. I feel like they can be attacked in the middle of the field. I think I'm gonna go Kittle. I think just the connection that Brock and Kittle have the new pair of linebackers in the middle feels like a good opportunity to confuse them, good opportunity to get them smoking mirrors. You know what I'm saying? Seeing things that they don't want to see. Uh, I think I'm gonna go Kittle on this one. Bobby says, "Hey Brad, I can't leave out Brock. He balls out against Seattle too. Can't forget the broken rib game against them. Brock's undefeated against Seattle. And yes, I was at that game as well. That was actually my first away game. Was Brock Purdy clinching the West in Seattle. Uh, that was a fun game. That was a fun ride, man. Hate the way that season ended because that was that season felt like the season. That season felt like it was supposed to happen that year, and it got stripped from us, got taken away by the stupid Philadelphia Eagles. But water under the bridge at this point. Bold prediction: Cowing scores first touchdown on special teams. Oh, I will take that any day of the week. I think for offensive player of the game, I am going to go with Kittle. I'm going Kittle, baby. Fire up your Kittle stonks. Feels like a good day to go, Georgie. Georgie. I'm going to fire me up some Kittle, baby. Kittle, Skittle over the middle. Heck yeah. But again, it's a pick your poison. The 49ers are back to having options, and they could do a lot of different things. They can make a lot of different things shake. So, what are we going to get? We'll see. We'll see. But it's time. It's time to do our sleeper picks. Our streak broke last week, but to be fair, that's fine. No CMC touchdown. I think we were very hyped for the potential of a CMC touchdown, and we didn't get it, but that's okay because we're going to get this next one. So I think I'm going to use some of the logic that we used for our players of the game to kind of build out our picks. And I want to go back to getting a winner. So we're going to pick 3, 2 for 49ers, 1 for Seattle. And let's get this up. So I think I'm going to start with Kittle. No, wait, where's Purdy's rush yards? Oh, did Purdy not hit on the rush yards last week? So Purdy's rush yards 19.5. Do we like the over on that? He hit 17 last week. But I think some of those yards got taken away from a sack. So he almost had it. I don't know. I think I'm going to take it still. Even though it didn't hit last week, I still think I'm going to take the Purdy rushing yards. It seems to be an easy one to get because we know he's going to use his legs. Kittle. Oh, they took out anytime touchdown for Kittle. And they must have been getting hurt on the on the Kittle touchdowns. So they took out Kittle scoring. So over under set at 59.5 yards. Oh, wait. No, that's Debo. Kittle set at 56.5 yards. I think I'm going to take Kittle over. Purdy will rush less with CMC. That's actually a good point because he's checking it down opposed to paying out too much money for Kittle. Um, let's see. Who else do we like? Or we could go Jawan. We could go Jawan in this game. Over under 3.5 receptions. We go Jawan. Should we go Moody field goal kicks? What is CMC's number of receptions? CMC's number of receptions is 4.5. So we would have to get 5. He had 6 last week, but that feels close. It feels a little too close for comfort. So I don't know if I want to go CMC receptions. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go Kittle. I'm trying to decide, do I want over on 4.5 receptions or over on 56.5 yards? I'm gonna go over on yards because I think Kittle can come away with something. Do we want to go Geno interception? Ooh, we might want to go Geno interception. There's only 3 games this year where Geno hasn't thrown a pick, so probabilities are in our favor for a Geno interception. All right, hopefully we get this one. So I'm going to lock her in, and then I'll show you what we got if you want to copy them. We just did a little 3-legger. I think this one looks high probability potentially. This one feels like a winner. We'll have to see. You got to let the game play out. But again, if you haven't played Sleeper before, you do have the opportunity to get up to 1,500 matching. They do actually looks like they have action as well on this fight. So if you want to get in on the Tyson, yep, they do. If you want to get in on the Tyson Jake Paul action, you can on Sleeper. Same concept as what we're doing here, but on the fight coming up. So just use my promo code SF9ers. You're good. These are the picks. Geno Smith, interception, smash that over. Brock Purdy, rushing yards. I'm going to still take the over. Kittle over 56.5. This I think feels like a W. We'll see. We'll see if we can get back to our winning ways on sleeper picks. Hopefully that is the case. But those are the picks. If you want to copy them, go for it. Switch them up. Do as you like. But that is our sleeper segment of Prediction Friday. And let's wrap up Prediction Friday with your bold takes. Time to get bold, people. Who is going to do something crazy this game? Who's going to play out of their minds? Who's going to just do something bold? Who's it going to be? It's going to be offense, defense. We got a bold take earlier for special teams. Cowing scores first touchdown on special teams. That is a bold take, considering the fact that special teams has been a challenge up until this point. So we'll see. Jennings, 130 receiving yards. Oh, boy. That's a big Jennings game. Sheesh. Okay. Jenks says Slick Rick TD, CMC TD, BCB TD. A lot of tuggies to go around for the boys. I'll come back to we talked about Mike Tyson, Jake Paul a little bit. I'll answer your question at the end here in a little bit. Scabs is predicting a touchdown on special teams. Predicting a touchdown on special teams seems like fantasy. It does. But I like that we got a lot of good energy heading towards the special teams. Demo 5 years for 5 picks. I like that. That's a good one. Pearsall gets 2 TDs, converts several third and longs. Dude, what's crazy is we haven't seen the Ricky Pearsall breakout yet. Obviously, I think what last week was just Ricky, but we haven't seen Ricky go crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's a game where Ricky is gonna go for over 200 and like 3 touchdowns. Like he really does have that opportunity to go crazy like that. So, hey, we'll see. We will see what happens there. If is today the day that or I guess not today, but coming up, Ricky gonna go crazy? I don't know. We'll see. Conquer red zone 5 touchdowns. Okay. Moody says, Bolt take. I turned 53 today and Niners score 53 on Sunday. Happy birthday, Michael Moody. Happy birthday, my guy. Appreciate all the support. You always show the channel, always hopping in the chat, showing good vibes. So a very, very special SDS happy birthday goes out to you, my guy. Thank you so much for all your contributions to the channel and the vibage. Appreciate you, my guy. And I like that. If the 49ers score 53 points on Sunday, it's because of you, 100%. I like that a lot, for sure. All right. Let me answer this question first. How concerned are you about Purdy throwing a wet football this year? I have a level of concern. I feel like it's his kryptonite. So we'll see. We'll see how he handles that moving forward. Definitely throwing a wet football is not his strong suit. So, yeah, definitely a level of concern for sure. Not gonna pretend like I don't think it's a problem and I don't think it's an issue. We definitely have enough data to know that all right, Brock has some struggles with the wet ball. So there is a level of concern for that, but hey, we'll see. I haven't played any rain games yet, but the weather is a changing. So we'll have to keep that in mind and see what goes down with that. Uh who do I got? Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. I'm going Tyson. We talked about it already. I'm going 50 Tyson on this one. 57 Tyson because he's 57. I'm going Iron Mike. I feel like we got a glimpse with the slap that um you know, I don't think he's playing around. And regardless of how old he is, he's he's crazy. So something when you unlock those like animalistic instincts in someone, like I've played against guys that remind me of Mike Tyson, like defensive tackles who like they black out. They just go into this primal like instinct. Like I remember I played against a guy. This guy that I played against is the reason why I was so high on Aaron Donald because he reminded me of Aaron Donald. And he was smaller. He was like 6'1", but he was like 6'1", 295, strong as hell, fast as hell, tons of technique, destroy you. And I just remember like I would be center, and this was when I was a freshman in college, and he would be pacing on the defensive line while we're in the huddle, and he would be staring into my soul, barking at me. And you might hear that and be like, barking, that sounds corny. No, it's terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying. He would just pace and bark, but it wasn't corny. It was terrifying. And then he would come out and he would destroy me. um, but the point is that it was like an animalistic, like they go to this place in their mind where you're not thinking of anything else other than destroying the person in front of you. I think Mike has that. Mike is wired that way. I don't think Jake Paul is wired that way. I think Jake Paul can learn how to box and, have good technique and have some power and do some of those things, right? But he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that like flip switch where he goes to a dark place and he, you know what I'm saying? He turns into an animal. I don't see that in Jake. So we'll see. We'll see. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. Oh, this is an interesting question. Brad, if you were in the NFL, which player would scare you the most? Probably like a prime Ndamukong Suh. He also reminds me of that player that I was just talking about. Like a prime Ndamukong Suh, where they're so strong, and they're freaks and they just are angry and their only number one goal is to hurt you. Prime and Ndamukong Suh, I'd probably be terrified to go up against Aaron Donald. I don't know. I don't know if I would be terrified to go up against Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald would absolutely fry me, but I don't look at Aaron and I'm like, "Oh, I'm scared of you." He doesn't give me those same vibes where like Ndamukong Suh like will literally step on your neck. So that's the first player that came to my mind, Ndamukong Suh, like prime Suh was It's a pretty scary player. I don't know. That was the first name that came to my head. Max Crosby. Max Crosby. I wouldn't be. I would be scared that he was going to beat me because he would just be better than I was. He is a relentless player. He's also kind of an ass too when he plays. Maybe. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say like I wouldn't be terrified going up against any of these NFL players because they would kick my ass so quickly. But I'm just trying to think like when I'm thinking of like who would scare me, I'm thinking of like who had that intimidation factor. Like obviously there's so many good defensive tackles, but I'm thinking like those guys like I said, you're standing in the huddle and they're staring through your soul and you're like, "Oh my gosh, this guy's going to kill me." Justin Smith would be terrifying, I think. I just think Justin Smith would be terrifying because I know he would destroy me. Just know it. He would cook me. Patrick Willis would be terrifying. Oh, that would be crazy. Could you imagine lining up and Patrick Willis is like staring at you, about to blitz the A gap, and he's got his big old club and he clubs you on the side of the head. You're like, oh, jeez. There's a bunch, man. There's a bunch. Intimidation factor, though. There's a couple out there, man, that probably intimidating as hell. So anyways, let's get in. We went off. We're in fight mode right now. let's get into our score predictions. How confident are we? Because I think we're all thinking win here. This is a game the 49ers should win. They're the better team. Seattle is on the ropes right now, sticking to the fighting references with some of the moves that have been made, some of the things that clearly are going on with them. So the 49ers have an opportunity to knock them out. I think they really do have the opportunity to put them down. Put them down like dogs. Because Seattle they're reeling and they need a win or else they're really going to feel like their season is over. So they're desperate. They have a weird situation going on, it seems like, internally. Obviously, it's a new coaching staff, so maybe they're getting rid of guys that they're like, all right, you don't have a future here. Maybe they are a season away of, rebuilding, getting rid of Geno, going a different direction. I don't know. So this is a desperation game for Seattle. So desperation can rear its head in two ways. Can rear its head in a way where they're ultra focused or ultra locked in, or they could spiral and they could, guys like DK Metcalf, they spiral quite a bit. Kenny says 38-17. That's a nice butt whooping right there. 34-9, another good butt whooping. 31-21. Okay. KJ's thinking it's going to be a tight one. Tight battle here. Okay. That's our first tight one. Joyce is 31-14. See a lot. So definitely the 49ers are scoring 30 points in this one. 55-10. Gosh, 55-10 would mean complimentary football. That's what that would mean. And that would make me fantastically happy. You also have 53-20, which we know why the 53. I hope it's 53 for you as well. But Moody says realistically 42-24. Okay. Oh, we got one of the kiddos chiming in. And again, if you guys don't know, with Joy's in a house divided. Husband is a Seattle Seahawks fan. She's a 49er fan. I will say, Joy, that your 12-year-old, I'm assuming, is saying 49ers 32-24. And if that is the case, phenomenal parenting, Joy. You have done phenomenal work. I know it's probably been a challenge. No disrespect to your husband, but fantastic, phenomenal. You get a helmet sticker for raising them right. 40-17 for Eric. 35-21. Okay. Your Marine son sides with the dad. Okay. At least he got one. At least he's got one. Shout out to Pops, man. Gotta have your right hand man. So I feel it. But the other ones grew up and they're like, I don't know about that. Annual tradition of cooking the birds before Thanksgiving, 35-17. Hell yeah, Joey, let's go. I like it. I like that. I actually like that score prediction. That seems like a nice score prediction. I might actually steal it. 27-0. Love it. Oh, interesting. We got Chat GPT chiming in. Chat GPT says 49ers 27, Seahawks 20. Okay. Chat GPT thinks it'll be a little closer. I like the 35-17. I'll probably knock it down a little bit. I'll go 31-17. Honestly, I would love to see this go above 40. I would love, because if the 49ers are scoring 40 plus points, that means they're playing complementary football. That means everything's rolling together. Offense, defense, special teams aiding each other. If they're scoring over 40, you don't do that by playing disjointed football. This 49ers team has proven they can score 30 points being a little disjointed, but you're not scoring 40 if you're disjointed. So would love to see just cinema. We haven't gotten that cinema game yet. We've gotten some good games by the 49ers, but I'm talking well-oiled machine, 60 minutes of complimentary rhythmic football that just makes you go, yes, that's the 49ers football that we've been looking for. Scoring in the red zone, long drives, turnovers, special teams making plays. Want to see all of it, man. Want to see all of it. And if we can, that'll be a good spot for the San Francisco 49ers. So we shall see. Oh, we got a Seattle Seahawks fan in our midst. We gotta make sure they're represented as well. But 37-21, Purdy throws 3 picks. It's your husband's burner account. Your husband's in the other room. Like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm tired of all this slander. It's time to get my get back. Check your husband. What's he doing? Is he in the other room sending from his burner account? Not today, pal. Not today. So Purdy isn't throwing 3 picks. I don't think so. But Anyways, appreciate everyone for tapping in on Prediction Friday. Been a week, that's for sure. 49ers, we got through Scufflegate. Do you notice how we have some kind of gate? Something gate. We had Audible Gate, Scufflegate, lose by 10 gate. I don't know. We always we got something. Let's get a win. Even in the first one against the Jets, we had the drama about Jordan Mason saying he knew since Friday. Like, let's get a win. Let's have it be a complete win with no drama. Can we do that? Can we? Because if we can, that would be a phenomenal sign for where this 49ers team is headed. But we'll see. We'll see if we can get a win with no drama and keep it pushing. But appreciate everyone, as always, for tapping in. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Get your cookies on the way out. Appreciate everyone, and hopefully you guys have a phenomenal rest of your night. And I guess we got a fight to keep our eye on coming up. So appreciate everyone, as always. I'm out of here for now. Peace. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to